What's up, people? We are back with more Fault Milestone 1. Poor Ritona and Princess Selphine had to sleep in the forest because they're kinda lost after using the ripple effect. I believe that's what it's called, but yeah, let's continue. I couldn't even get a single wink of sleep. Could it be fatigue from our flight last night? My body feels a lot heavier than usual. But why? I can't even feel the muscles in my arms or legs or anywhere. I can't feel a thing. It's sickening. Could this be what they call lethargy? Good morning. Selphine may be afflicted with lethargy as well. She's never mumbled like that before. Good morning, milady. Selphine's gown was covered with twigs and dirt from sleeping on the ground. It pains me to see her look so slovenly. But it was my own fault. Had I been more resourceful, Selphine wouldn't have had to sleep on the ground. Did you sleep well? Wait, can she really not talk? Selphine? Selphine shook her head disdainfully, eyes shut against the morning sun. She either can't talk or she's just not a morning person. Her eyes appear slightly swollen from tears. Neither did I, milady. I was too worried about father and our people to sleep. Oh god, she can't talk. Damn it. How could I have disgraced Selphine so? How could I be so powerless? We need to learn everything we can about those people. Indeed. Who was after Selphine and why? Were they alone? Or did they have reinforcements? It's almost pathetic how little we know about our enemy. Ritona, why do you think those girls were trying to kill me? Do you think they don't want me to become Queen of Rughzenhaide? A monarchy without its monarch is a kingdom in chaos. It didn't seem that way to me, at least. Milady, as it stands, we know too little about our enemy to discuss their supposed motivations. Our priority now should be leaving this forest and ascertaining the locale. We can plan out our next move after we fulfill this objective. You're right, Ritona. For now, returning to Rughzenhaide, or at least territory affiliated with the Mana Crafters Alliance, remains our top priority. Until then, everything else is a distraction. We walked for almost 10 minutes before coming across our first sign of hope. We'd have been in a sad state if we attempted to survive off of the land without the use of my mana crafties. Hope manifested itself in the form of a rugged trail. We began scattering stones and removing the undergrowth which was obstructing the trail. The trail was dug, flattened, and refined by the hands of humans. It may as well have been paved with stone. There may be a settlement nearby. I guess we should walk in the direction that's a little brighter than the other. Indeed, but for safety's sake, do not under any circumstance leave my side. Okay. We assumed that the road led to a settlement, though we tried not to get our hopes up. I've never seen trees like these in Rughzenhaide. She was right. Just where did the mana streams take us? This forest was thick with unfamiliar vegetation. Irritatingly, I was unable to identify a single plant. Worse still, the low oxygen level made breathing difficult. If we rushed through, we were sure to pass out. But what was the cause of this lack of oxygen? It wasn't humid, but something was amiss. I struggled to shake off this unsettling sensation. Milady. Yes, Ritona? If what we're approaching is a settlement of the Alliance, then we should procure whatever sediment stones they have. You mean stones for storing colored and purified mana? What for? So we can stay in contact if we're separated, and also because our comcrafty links to each other have been severed. What? Oh my, it really has been severed. It's similar to how our only link to the Quinn Order was disrupted during the attack. Same with our link to Father. I tried commencing Comcrafty contact yesterday evening, but got nothing. I still don't understand how they managed to disrupt our Comcrafty links. What's the matter, Ritona? You don't look well. There are two possible explanations for this. Either the riptide effect somehow disrupted it, or what? Or the mana lines here aren't sophisticated enough to support long-distance Comcrafty calls. Rughzenhaide's Comcrafty mana lines once extended beyond Kingdom of Rughzenhaide, all these names, and provided amazing Comcrafty link quality, but since those mana lines were disrupted, as we learned when I tried to contact the Quinn Order, it's likely the latter case. Our priorities lie elsewhere though, milady. As it stands, we're isolated here. Our inability to communicate with our forces isn't beneficial, but if I were to lose contact with you in this foreign land, I don't even want to think about it. If I could, I would re-establish our Comcrafty links to each other right now, but we need sediment stones for that, and neither of us has one. Indeed, we do not. Around an hour later, the trail ceased to be a winding road. The trees lining the trail diminished significantly as we exited the forest, finding ourselves in front of a pair of large gates at the end of the trail. Oh, dang, look at this. What? What? What is this place? My mana dowsing couldn't detect any trace of mana in the forest, and yet this settlement has as many people as a small kingdom. She was at a loss for words. At the gate stood a signboard in a language we were unfamiliar with. The people traversing in and out of the gates, the language being spoken and exchanged. The architecture, the craftsmanship, the masonry, everything. Just about everything that defined this settlement was incredibly foreign. They're not speaking Agirstian. Oh my god, can't you just come up with simple words for this? Agirstian. They must not be part of the Alliance. I'm not even sure if this settlement is even located on the continent of San Agirsta. Nothing about this settlement even remotely resembles anything we know. Going beyond the gate and into the settlement may prove to be a more daunting task than I imagined. Milady. Without a doubt, we are completely oblivious to the customs of this region, and for that reason, I recommend that we communicate through Aero Radar. Agreed. Also, we should conceal our identities. Out of caution, neither of us should under any circumstance utter the name of Rughzenhaide. Agreed. We could be in enemy territory for all we know. Until we learn something substantial, we are no more than a pair of travelers. Okay, Ritona, we're travelers. I will speak for us, so please allow me a moment to adjust myself to Aero Radar first. Ritona, people are looking at us. Yeah, they are. The townspeople passing us by would turn and stare blankly at us both. Perhaps our form of attire is entirely foreign to the locale. We'd better find a boutique after we locate a store that sells sediment stones. Stay close to me, milady. I'm trying. Isn't there anyone unassuming looking we could try to communicate with? We'll never know anything until we make contact with someone. Excuse me. We are searching for the nearest sundry. Would you be so kind as to assist us? Chugna, Abera? I suppose I'll have to simplify my request. It was already a simple request though. We've lost our way and need directions. Chas berezai, eta lochena chuchi, abelu, speakelu lingufu, franchipu, pitiyu. What the hell is this language? He understood me this time. I'm not so sure he did, Ritona. Let me try. I'm sorry, but we're not from around here. Could you please help us find the closest clothing store? Helpy foo, findy cool, clothy you? Yesy who, helpy too, takey goo, girly coo, clothy you. What is this? Impressive. Selphine managed to deconstruct Ajirdian into the man's way of speaking. But now, I can't understand a single word Selphine's saying. You're extending your endings too much, Ritona. Shorten them a bit. Also, the proper received pronunciation is... Upon receiving Selphine's instruction, I made another attempt. Oh, a sundry. Well, why didn't you say so in the first place? There are tons of them around town. Wow. I can understand him now. And he understood my request. It may seem a little strange there where the young guy, I think it was a young lad or whatever, that before he was talking in his weird language, right? And then it became more and more understandable. It's just so that we can understand it as well, because they're basically communicating in that foreign language, which was like blah 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 blah. But for us to be able to read that and understand it, it's sort of impossible, right? So everything, we read it as English, but they're basically just communicating in that foreign language. And yeah, because it looked really weird for me at first too, but when I thought about it, I was like, that's probably what it must be. Selphine has always been a master of picking up new languages by osmosis. Dang, osmosis. I remember that from biology class. Yeah, I paid attention. Thank you very much for your help, kind sir. Does this place have its own currency? We weren't sure if it did or not. Oh, honey. First of all, this place is a city. And second, of course it does. What do you think we deal in? Animal pelts? Teehee, I suppose not. Teehee, blush. So, I suppose you wouldn't have any local currency, would you? Were you hoping to go shopping for something? You could say that. So you're short on change. Oh, I know. You could pawn something. There's a pawn shop right outside the city. The young man was earnest in assisting Selphine and directed us to his specified pawn shop. Thank you again, kind sir. You've been a great help. Please. It was nothing, really. As we left in the indicated direction, I noticed that the young man would look back occasionally for a glimpse of Selphine. That young man seemed quite earnest, milady. He sure was. I've never met such a helpful stranger before. Something ain't right. Earnest for all the wrong reasons. Gosh, Ritona, why not use Aeroratum to communicate? They don't speak Ajirdian, you know. I noticed. Even without Aeroratum, Selphine would have no trouble being understood. She was gifted with linguistic talent from birth. In Aeroratum, the more control and flexibility one has in their mother tongue, the more easily their thoughts can be conveyed across languages. If I may interject, milady, Aeroratum, one of the most difficult techniques amongst currently known comcrafty, is how kingdoms without a mutual language engaged in diplomacy. Aeroratum originated during the reign of Royal Guard Ritona III, who yearned for a method that could be used to unite kingdoms in conflict. He sought to conclude conflicts through communication, and Aeroratum would make that possible. Selphine, having learned of this via Path Down, understood his desires quite well. The royalty of Rughzenhaide may have a gift for languages, but please, don't break Aeroratum to converse with the populace. Granted, I have no ear for languages, so my request carried little to no weight. Oh, why not, Ritona? I want to help too, and I'd like to learn the language. I have a facility with languages, but I can't use Manacrafty. Nonsense, milady. You're well versed in Medicrafty. Your culinary skills are top-notch, and you're an amazing archer. You have many, many talents. Don't flatter me, Ritona. We both know I'm below average in all of those. The only arts I truly excel at are making conversation and language. Without those, I have nothing. Do not despair, milady. Have faith in your many talents and strengths. Nothing positive will come from degrading your dignity. But you always degrade yourself, Ritona. It is well deserved in my case. I have much more to learn, so much that I may never be satisfied. That alone is a contradictory statement. Gosh, Ritona, why? I'd trade my linguistic skills for your flair with mana crafty in a heartbeat. There's nothing particularly beneficial to making conversation, but it's all I have. Utter nonsense. If you willed it, you could easily converse with anyone through Aeroratum. Think of the opportunities that dialogue would create. I don't have your facility with languages, my lady. I never had learned Aeroratum without you. You really think so, Ritona? I do believe so. Truly. Please, do not degrade your dignity any further. You will succeed the throne as Queen Selphine of Rughzenhaide one day. Your people will not judge you by the fine silk gowns you wear or your beauty, for the imbeciles who would dare do. Please do not force me to illustrate my point further. Yeah? Ritona, you're way too young for that old lady talk. Wait for me, Ritona. I was only kidding. We're here. Having followed the young man's direction dutifully, we arrived at an old pawn shop outside the city. So, there really are places like this that still only accept local currency. Outside of Rughzenhaide, I suppose the use of currency is still commonplace. While Rughzenhaide has moved beyond using money, the rest of the Alliance uses the same as their common currency. We can no longer act under the presumption that our cultures share anything in common. Agreed. Is something amiss, milady? No, it's just I've never seen or touched real money before. Kinda exciting, isn't it? We've never needed it, so I suppose it's only natural. But, milady, you've at least seen a sane note before, haven't you? Of course I have, but seeing and feeling are two completely different things. Logical, seeing as we'd never had a need for it. And Father always told me that money is the embodiment of all evil. I would say he's kinda right there. Kinda. Contact with money would beckon forth the archdemon of avarice, Sekuli, who would steal your soul. Archdemon of avarice? Seriously? I can't wait to see the city's currency. We're close in age, but Selphine was a child at heart, and her curiosity about the world outside Rughzenhaide was overflowing. Money has always been deeply rooted in the foundation of any society. Some yearn for it, some do not. It is a necessary evil. That's true as well. It is a necessary evil. At least, I think it is. Whatever the case, our common sense as citizens of Rughzenhaide should be sound enough to fend off greed. It's funny how they said that they shouldn't be mentioning Rughzenhaide at all, yet they've mentioned it about 5 times in the last conversation that they've had. But it could be that they're communicating through what was it? Through Comcrafty or the other one? Aeroratum, that's what it was called. But I'm not entirely sure how that would work, but perhaps they're not even talking out loud, like they're just sharing their thoughts, something like that. I don't know how Aeroratum works, but at least that would make more sense, that they then have the freedom of saying Rughzenhaide without being scared of people recognizing them. At least, I hope we can. I know, Ritona. I just wanted to savor the moment, that's all. The issue at hand for us now would be deciding what item to put up for collateral, and whether or not that item had any value in the eyes of the appraiser. Maybe a precious metal might work. Shall we, milady? Uh-oh, that guy, he doesn't look happy already. This is bona fide platinum, missy. Never seen platinum forged and polished into a blade quite like this one. My collateral was the ceremonial dagger I received after appointed Selphine's royal guardian. The appraiser slash proprietor was beyond surprised when I presented it to him. I'm just overwhelmed with relief that the locals view platinum as a valuable commodity. Are you planning on selling this beaut, missy? If at all possible, yes. It is of sentimental value to me, but I hope it will be of some worth to you. Wow, where and when did Ritona learn how to haggle? She's a pretty smooth talker. The blade itself looks well polished, but like it's never been used. This is an antique, missy? No, I've never had to use it before. I received this dagger when I was 15, and I've had it on me for 4 years now. 4 years and not once have you had to use it? Oh, missy, if I could only age like this beaut right here. Time flies as you are at my age, but just looking at this new blade makes me brighten right up. If that's how you feel, then the emotional attachment you'll gain towards it will be priceless. Indeedy do, missy. I think the price I have in mind is appropriate for the quality of the craft. Oh, he's gonna give us an offer. Let's see. How does 500 gallows sound? 500 gallows? Is something amiss, missy? Is something amiss? I'll say something's amiss. 4 years might mean nothing to you, but that's half my youth. I spent half my youth with that dagger, and those memories cannot be bought. This dagger was all that kept me company in times of dire duress. Damn, Ritona's working it. I speak the truth when I say the comfort this dagger brought me is worth more than 500 gallows. What? That makes absolutely no sense. What does your youth have to do with the dagger's value? How did your youth get mixed into the deal? Alright then, missy. How's 600 gallows sound? 600? You do both my dagger and youth an injustice with so paltry an appraisal. I see that neither has any significance to you. We shall take our leave. Clearly you see little value in processing my treasured dagger. Just wait a moment now. Wait a moment now. 630 gallows. That's more than a fair price for your dagger, your youth, and it's my final offer. Oh, very well. I shall accept your final offer as a symbol of your understanding. You drive a real hard bargain, missy, but I'm glad we have a deal. It's Ritona's evil grin. I haven't seen that grin in years. Phew. You really overcharged him, Ritona. Did you drive up the price because he was giving us a bad deal? Oh, of course not. I don't even know how much a gala was worth. That's what I was thinking as well. Like, you know how like the Zimbabwean currency where it's like trillion, they have like $1 trillion bills where it's like it's worth almost nothing, it's like a couple of cents. But because it's a big number, it makes it sound like it's really valuable, right? The same could be sort of said about the gala where it's like 500. You don't know how much it's worth in compared to like another currency. So you can say like, yeah, I'll give you 10,000 for it, but if you don't know what it's worth in comparison to something else, then it's pretty meaningless. So I guess she just, because always at these things, yeah, obviously people may watch Pawn Stars or whatever the fuck that show is called, but they always try to lowball you, of course. So, and then after you reject their original deal, which is what she did, then you try and see the reaction of them, because if they want it badly, right, then they're gonna add more. And when she was like ready to walk out, he was like, no, wait. That just means that he really wants it, and then he's gonna drive up the price even more, and she basically just got an extra 130 gallows on top of what he already offered her, just for the sole purpose of basically knowing that he wants it pretty badly. Meaning it's quite, I mean, if she were to actually sell it on, I guess, like a place on eBay where you actually get the real amount of value, I'm not even sure if that even works on eBay, but they don't even have an eBay equivalent on this game, right? In this universe. So, but you know what I mean, right? If you sell it at a place where you actually get the real value for it rather than getting lowballed at like a pawn shop, then she would have gotten more out of it. But since they obviously need it right now, whatever. Let's just continue. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Anyway, they got 630 gallows. You didn't know? Then why? Oh, I just wanted to see how much more we could get before you refused to go any higher. See? I admit, it was thrilling to see how much further I could push him. Who are you? You must be secretly in the disguise. Please. We have more pressing matters to attend to. Wait, Ritona, what about sediment stones? Oh, I completely forgot about it in the heat of the moment. Do you think 630 gallows is enough for 2 sediment stones? I'm sure it'll be more than enough. A precious metal of platinum's values far exceeds that of a common ore. Pardon me, I forgot. We're actually looking for one more thing. Oh? What kind of thing? We're looking for sediment stones specialized for mana crafting. You could have heard a pin drop. The silence. Sediment stones? The proprietor's expensive grin suddenly turned grim. Yes, sediment stones. Despite his apprehension, I must press on. Class 3. No, Class 4 quality stones will do. 2 of the crudest cuts you have. He's still being silent. He stared at me long and hard. His piercing stare exuded the exact pressure I placed on him during the haggle. And suddenly... his expression changed to a sly sneer. What's the matter with him? You know what, missies? I knew you must be traitors when I first saw you. You are, aren't you? Sort of, but that's not your concern. Do you have what we need or not? If you don't have any, could you please tell us where we could find a store that does? Real trainers would have passed through a town or two before now, though, so you'd know what's being traded in other towns. Yes? So what's all this sediment stone stuff about? Are you betting a man belittling? Are you belittling a man trying to make an honest living? Excuse me? Oh, you want me to spell it out? Is that the name of this game? Cause if it is, you got a real mean streak, missy. I swear, I have no idea what you're talking about. You should know damn well that a dusty old pawn shop like this could never afford to have them precious sediment stones. Come again? Precious sediment stones? I know I'll never be able to afford sediment stones, but I don't need reminding. If that's all you wanted to ask, then please leave. You've done me enough harm for one day. Wait a moment. Sediment stones are precious around here? That can't be right. Class 4 sediment stones are so common. Every child in our kingdom has at least 1 or 2 to play with. It can't be. No, she hadn't just... I thought something was fishy about you two. You two really are from around here. You're both from another continent altogether. Outsiders. Outsiders? So, Class 4 cinnamon rocks are so common where you're from that every grubby running around has more than one. He just called us outsiders. I realize you've taken offense, but please answer me this. Is this region the outer pole? Outer pole? You're not really asking me this, are you? How can you two survive as traveling traders if you don't even know where it is traveling? We have our reasons. Answer me this and we will be on our way. We will ask no more. Oh, for the love of all manna. Yes, missy, you're on the outer pole. Specifically, south-southwest from the middle of the second pole, in the 3rd sector. Right now, you're just outside Cadia City. The third sector is the largest region of the whole continent. Reason being that the outer pole is more of an island than a continent. I honestly hope you both got all that. From where do y'all two hail anyways? The second pole, Ritona. We've been swept to the other side of the planet. You have my gratitude, good sir. Chapter 2, Rude Awakening. Let's be on our way, milady. Okay. Hold your horses, Bonnie. Bonnie? Missy O'Dare said that you two are in need of some sediment stones. Only mana crafters have any use for them. Normal folks like myself only care for a pretty price they fetch. Are you two actually mana crafters? Pardon us, good sir, but we cannot answer that. It makes no difference to me whether you answer or not. I just want to mention something for your sakes. This it be the outer poles, and the outer poles be a godforsaken continent bereft of mana lines, mana streams. If it's mana you're after, then you came to the wrong continent. You won't find any mana crafters on the outer pole, no siree. Mana lines around there be about as thick as string with about as much mana. No point in learning mana crafty. Folk on the outer poles and us Cadians ain't got it so good, unlike the rest of the world that sees mana crafty used every day. But it ain't all gloom and doom, dearies. We've found ways to make do without mana. We've got our own problem solving method. We call it science, bitch. With science, we're able to physically tap into those fiddly mana lines and drain what little there was for whatever we need. You know where I'm going with this, Missy? I have the gist of it. Mana is the precious source of all life on this planet. Every living thing has purified mana swirling inside of them. We on the outer pole need purified mana for the energy, just like everyone else. Desperate for it, in fact. The only difference is that we can't tap in that mine full of purified mana. Not like you, Missy. So before science, you needed help from mana crafters? That's the gist. There's nothing more precious on this godforsaken continent than mana. What good is it though if you can't manipulate it? Which is why sediment stones are ridiculously expensive. They can store purified mana siphoned from the body. Even now, there are money-grubbing mana crafters who want to sell sediment stones brimming with purified mana to the highest bidder. Where do you think they get their purified mana from? I think you know what I'm going with this on, Missy. They kidnap people to siphon mana from? It only regenerates so much daily, so they must have kidnapped as many as they could for a constant supply. A word to the wise, Missy. Cadians don't talk kindly to mana crafters for those reasons, or outsiders for that matter. Keep your mana crafty's powers concealed. And don't tell folks that you're looking for the crudest cuts of sediment stones. You're gonna be an outlet for their frustration. Even with the advent of science, we remember what it's like to go without mana. Not a speck of mana shall go wasted, they say. Thank you for your word of caution. Oh man, I actually like doing that guy's voice. It's so funny. Outsiders. Who is she? Why did this happen? What have we gotten ourselves into? I devoted 2 years to optimizing that blasted mana line. I even immersed myself into it to confirm its path to the emergency shelter. So why? What's the matter, milady? I can't help but feel disgusted at myself. Milady, there's absolutely no reason to feel that way. When I was a child, Father always told me stories about the outer poles and the people who lived there. Father always made it sound like it was worlds away, so much that I thought manaless lands were a myth. But after what the proprietor just told us, I just can't help but feel disgusted at myself for feeling fortunate for having been born in Rughzenhaide. Fortunate for never having experienced the hardships of living a life without the convenience of mana crafty. That's the first thing I felt too. Not empathy for the people or a desire to help, but how fortunate I was to be born ignorant of their suffering. I'm so selfish, Ritona. So selfish. It makes me sick to my stomach. Ignorance is bliss, they say, but how can I rule Rughzenhaide if I'm this blind to the suffering that goes on beyond our walls? You cannot expect to feel helpless if you've never been subjected to any experience that would even evoke helplessness. Even if we possess the capacity to help these people, we have to set our priorities straight. Supplying them with mana to ensure their survival is not one of them. Everything is a distraction until we return to Rughzenhaide, milady. I know, Ritona, but I can't shake this feeling of self-loathing. You know, Ritona, milady, the world isn't so small after all. Indeed. To be honest, I couldn't help but feel the same way, milady. Excuse me. Huh? It's the same girl. I'm sorry if I surprised you. Eek, I bit my tongue. I didn't mean to scare you. You sure got my pulse up. I couldn't sense her presence before she spoke up. How did she do it? I know this will sound weird coming from a stranger, but if you don't mind me asking, are you two visiting from another place? Well, Oh no, they're looking at me funny. They totally think I'm a creeper. Oh, gosh, where are my manners? My name is... Your name is... Oh, my name is... Rune. Again, I'm sorry if I scared you. You think you two could forgive me if I took you both on a tour of the city? Wait a second. Your name is Rune? No. Sorry about the stutter. It's just Rune. I know, I'm just teasing. I suppose teasing someone for stuttering is still humorous to Selphine. In this day and age, it's considered insensitive, right? I don't know. I know it's a real odd request to make of strangers, but there's something about you too that I just can't wrap my tongue around. Wait, that came out wrong. What the hell is wrong with this girl? While we'd love to take you up on your offer, you obviously have an ulterior motive concealed under this guise of charity. What are you really after? I'm not after anything, really. You make it sound like I'm gonna entrap you and rub you off your gallows or something. I think she just told us her plan. Actually, that's a lie. I admit that I do have a little bit of an ulterior motive. I'm just cementing the image of a creeper in your eyes with everything I say, aren't I? And you've admitted to actually having an ulterior motive for guiding us around. You've got it all wrong. It's nothing that'll hurt you or anything. I just thought I'd share some background about Cadia City on our little tour, getting you both familiarized with the locale and whatnot. Before dressing you down with who and where and stuff, I kinda just wanted you two to open up to me. This girl is so weird. That's your ulterior motive? Well, oh no, they think I'm a freak. I was way off being better thought of as a creeper. They both blink. Just to clarify, I'm not usually this clumsy with my words, usually. My mind and my mouth are just having an awful day off, so I'd appreciate it if you both could stop staring at me with those looks of intense pity. They really sting, okay? Sure. But could you please just hang on for a second? Sure. Well, I'm not sure what we're gonna do, but I guess we will find out in the next video. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and I will see you then. Peace!